into the program.
Thank you so much for being with us today with this historical announcement, and I want to thank and recognize several of you that have traveled to be with us. Our own district delegate, Will Moorfield, is with us today. Thank you, Will, for being with us. We know this program will have a major impact. It will be something that you can brag about in Richmond, about what's happening down here in Southwest Virginia. We also have with us Drew Lumpkin representing our Senator Warner, and we have also
In his leadership, and certainly why we're here today, because of another new and bold initiative. And so we're grateful for his leadership and glad to welcome him to the podium to announce the news today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, everyone, for your presence and being a part of this special day in the life of Bluefield College. Bluefield College has a rich history and an admirable mission. She has been described as a powerful lighthouse for the youth to whom no college has come before. Virginia Baptist and members of this community partnered together 94 years ago to create a college that would serve the educational and spiritual needs of the young people of Central Appalachia. I'm proud to say we're continuing to do that, and the initiative we're here to announce today will just further our mission of being a place of accessibility. In recent years, the national discourse on higher education has centered on concerns to the rising cost of education and whether the average American family can afford a college education. Coupled with concerns of affordability are the fears about rising student debt, now exceeding $1 trillion. While nearly 40% of that student debt is related to graduate and professional programs, the national average for student debt at a private college is just under $30,000. And I'm pleased to share that the average student debt at Bluefield College for our graduates is right at $22,000, nearly $8,000 under the national average. Bluefield College recognizes there are families that desire a college education for their sons and daughters, yet they struggle to meet the financial obstacles. In part, in a response to President Obama's challenge to the higher education sector that we should always be mindful of those who are desperately in need of an education to better their lives, but have little means to obtain those dreams. I can't imagine a better way to respond to this challenge than through a new initiative that we are here to share with you today, as well as to live out our Christian mission in serving the least of these who live in our surrounding communities. In an effort to meet the national call to deliver a quality higher education that is more affordable and accessible to those at our country's lowest socioeconomic level, and in keeping with the college's mission to be a point of access to the youth here in Appalachia, Bluefield College proudly announces the Pathways Initiative, a tuition plan that substantially reduces tuition by nearly 50% for qualifying Pell students who live here in our region. This new tuition model will provide a pathway to quality higher education for students of the region with little to no direct out-of-pocket expense or impact to their families. Starting with the fall of 2015-2016, in the coming academic year, the Pathways tuition will be $12,000 for students who qualify for federal Pell Grant, live at home, and attend a school district within a 45-mile radius of Bluefield College. Those school districts that their counties include are Bland, Buchanan, Carroll, Floyd, Giles, Grayson, Montgomery, Pulaski, Russell, Smith, Tazewell, Washington, and Wythe, all in Virginia. And then McDowell, Mercer, Monroe, Raleigh, Summers, and Wyoming in West Virginia. With Pell, external aid such as the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant and other foundations and organizations, and the significant reduction in the college's tuition, students can graduate with much less debt than the average college student, and again, without a direct out-of-pocket expense to the family. For example, students who qualify for the maximum Pell Grant Award, which in the coming year will be $5,700. Yes, sir, for a fall and spring semester, so that would be $6,000 per semester, And that would enable a student, a full-time student for us qualifies at 12 credit hours, and that would go up until 18 credit hours that would fall within that tuition price point.
Dr. All, we have a student here today from Hazel County, and the look on her face is just precious with, I think, how excited she seems to be about this new program making her education more affordable here at Bluefield College.
Great. Fantastic. We're glad to have you here with us. And I hope you'll be considering Bluefield College in the fall. Great. Fantastic. Yes, sir.
School districts, mentions Montgomery County, does that include the city of Radford?
It ought to, yes. Anything that would fall within the county. And we have utilized a 45-mile radius around the campus. That is our current policy that differentiates a student who would either live on campus or live at home. And so students who currently live within that 45-mile radius are eligible to live at home and commute to campus. So we are including all school districts within that 45-mile radius now. So that opens the door a little bit further out for students, and there would certainly have to be a comfort level for that student in driving to and from campus each day, and there might be some geographical distances within this geographic territory that I've just shared with you that might be a challenge to drive every day. But we believe this will impact numerous young people and give them the opportunity to have a Bluefield College experience at a very affordable price.
What about athletes? I know it says live at home, but what about your athletes? Can they apply for this?
A student who comes through Pathways Initiative can be a student athlete, but they will receive no institutional aid. So no athletic aid, no other financial aid if they go through this plan. But they can still participate on an athletic team.
Does it apply to students who are already enrolled?
Yes, we'll make this available to any student and can go back and reevaluate if this plan is a more affordable option to them versus what they're already perhaps packaged as financially through academic scholarships, need-based aid, and athletic or talent aid if that were the case. Yes, sir.
Do you have a limit on the numbers of students that can apply or receive this?
No, sir. The door is wide open, and we'll fill up classrooms until we run out of seats, and when that happens, we'll start figuring out the next problem, how to fix it.
Dr. Olive, I'd like to commend Bluefield College on their endeavors to put this program in. I think it's going to meet a lot of the needs of the lower socioeconomic people that we have, especially in Tazewell County. And since our economy is in a decline, this will afford our children a better opportunity to get an education. And as you and I both know, education is the key to economic success in this county.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Garland. Appreciate your comments. Yes, David.
Can you share some of the genesis of this idea, how it got started?
Hold on one second. I'm going to answer that. Someone who is joining us by conference call, was there a question?
Yes, this is Robbie Court from Grown Up Time. I was wondering how much this is expected to boost enrollment next year.
You know, I'll be honest, you would think we would at least take a gander at that, but we have not. And because we're not aware of any other college or university in the United States that has taken this approach, there's really no model out there as to how students and families will respond to this opportunity. It was just something we felt we needed to do as we continued to see families struggling to try to make it a reality for their sons or daughters, and yet having those dreams dashed. And so we want to do everything we can to help an income of around $20,000, an adjusted of $20,000, family of 4. And so there's a sliding scale. The more you make above that, and perhaps the more or less members in your household. But we do think, again, this is going to be a tremendous doorway for many who perhaps previously have not been able to even envision the possibility of a 4-year private college education.
application that students can submit to us that will help us process and identify them as someone with the Pathways initiatives. So we do have a team of counselors who are prepared to go into the schools in this service area and make sure that people receive that word. We're also going to be sending communication out to area superintendents in this region, as well as the principals of the schools. And then from our office directly, we'll be working with the guidance counseling staff, because that's who we have our best line of communication with on our side.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I believe I heard Dr. Bailey on the conference phone. Dr. Bailey is our board chair. Yes, sir.
Dr. Ali, compliments to all of you there in the leadership team, and thanks to all of our special friends for being there. Trustee Jack Markham and I are sitting on board a flight getting ready to leave sunny Florida for Virginia. We'll see you this next week, but just thank you all for this great Pathways initiative. It's going to be fantastic, I know, for freshmen, for sophomores, for transfers, for community colleges, and we're just so proud to be affiliated with Bluefield College.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate those comments.
Dr. Oliver.
Yes, Will.
Just as several of the elected officials stated earlier, I would also like to commend you and Bluefield College for this initiative. As many of you know, we've made a number of tremendous efforts toward making college more affordable at our state universities and community college systems, and it's exciting to see our private institutions doing the same, because as Supervisor Garland Roberts stated, education is really the key to success. And something that I think is exciting is that we're seeing a mass exodus of our young people in this area, and this is just one more tool that gives them the opportunity to get a quality education from a traditional university here locally. So
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. And Delegate Moorfield is not only our delegate, but has just recently been appointed to the Virginia Tobacco Commission. And I'll play off of that, because the thought just came to mind that through the Tobacco Commission, for those who live within the tobacco footprint, there is a scholarship eligible for those who live in that region. So even some of our students who fall into this category, who live in the Tobacco Commission footprint, that is another access point for an externally funded scholarship opportunity to be applied toward this. So again, this is just continuing to drive down the need for student loans, which again helps make the educational experience even more attractive to those who most need the help. So thank you for your participation and help in that process. Any other questions or comments before we bring this to conclusion? Yes.
To kind of piggyback, the word is definitely getting out, as I'm a guidance counselor in Montgomery County, as well as a guardian of a potential freshman.
Oh, excellent. Wonderful.
Sides.
All right. So for those who may be joining us and remotely, we have a guidance counselor from Montgomery County who's also a legal guardian of a potential freshman in the fall. So thank you for being an ambassador and sharing with others at the school and throughout your community.